Welcome back to the pop culture discussion. That's right.
Daddy song.
I know I've been away for a hot minute, but I'm back now, and I really appreciate all 425 of you for sticking around and supporting my channel. As much as I've kind of dropped off doing purely reviews on this channel, the boys are back, and you know for damn sure I'm going to talk about it because this is literally my favorite TV show of all time.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I've heard some mixed things when it comes to this season compared to the previous ones, and personally, I think I enjoyed it a bit more than the average viewer, but there's definitely a few issues that I have to talk about. So let's get straight into the review. And don't worry, I'll be keeping this review spoiler free for all of you who haven't seen it yet. The darkly goofy humor, shockingly realistic social commentary, and unpredictable writing continue to craft the brutally sharp satire this series is known for. Season 4 dives even deeper into the social commentary more than ever this season, and given recent real-world events, the writing couldn't be any more personal. I know this season was written and filmed over a year ago, but I gotta admit, the timing of some of these themes is ironically insane in the craziest way possible. The emotionally traumatic character arcs of the complex main characters continue to stand strong with incredible monologues of honest dialogue and constantly outstanding performances. The unique new side characters clash well with the iconically terrifying yet brutally fun main cast. The actors continue to be at the top of their game this season with some of the hardest hitting arcs we've ever seen in the series. Kessler, Sage, and New Noir definitely stood out to me as the best new characters this season, and A-Train, Huey, and Homelander definitely had my favorite arcs of the season. Not gonna lie though, I was definitely a little underwhelmed with Butcher's arc until the final episode, and Starlight's constant mogging is insanely distracting in the worst possible way. Although she did get to play a different version of her character this season, and those scenes were pretty fantastic. Also, I'm all for MM losing weight if the actor wants to be healthier, but why did he get rid of his beard? Bro be dropping pounds and years with his new look, and with that masculine voice, it just doesn't suit this new look. The insane twist, escalating politics, and smart pop culture references present new storytelling ideas full of diabolical concepts and shockingly satisfying conclusions. Although the final episode of this season was extremely satisfying, Season 4 was by far the most obvious season when it came to building everything up towards the final episode, which does completely mess with the pacing. I know a lot of shows do this formula of storytelling, but The Boys has always found a way to make every episode important as well as the final one, escalating the pacing at a breakneck speed. But this season honestly felt like half the episodes were important, but the other half were just having characters move around but not really doing anything too drastic to change the plot or move the story forward. As fun as these episodes are, they definitely stood out as some of the safest, most generic, and slowest episodes of the show. It was also super fun to see all the references to Gen V in this season. Yes, I definitely thought we would have gotten a little bit more when it came to the characters crossing over, but I am satisfied with what we got. The creatively disturbing uses of superpowers continue to excel the intense sequences of gory violence through chaotic action and sudden kills. The boys get absolutely crazy creative with the power sets this season. Not only do we have the strongest and most overpowered characters in the show so far popping up this season, but ideas that were barely used in previous seasons were fully fleshed out and reflected on this season, crafting some of the best and most entertainingly disturbing action we've ever gotten in this series so far. Not to mention, this season also has the goriest kill I've ever seen in the show, and having Homelander even more unhinged as usual, and Butcher the most desperate he's ever been happening at the same time just makes both of them even more intense than ever. Unfortunately, some inconsistent power levels, convenient plot armor, and frustrating choices can underwhelm the writing in some scenes. I'm not 100% sure why, but Season 4 was definitely the first time I really started to notice how randomly inconsistent some power levels are for characters. There are characters with multiple abilities that only rely on one or two of their powers in certain scenes, where if they used a different power in this fight, the fight would be over in like seconds, but other characters' plot armor keeps them alive and seems to be dialed up to 11 in some of these scenes this season. Honestly, there are scenes where the boys are pushed by a soup and hit into a wall and they are completely fine, but then an extra gets pushed in the same way, but they immediately die. If this happened once or twice, it wouldn't really bother me, but it's happening almost every single episode this season. The boys were put in so many situations where at least one of them should have died, and they all came out of these situations basically fine. When these scenes are happening back to back, it really just lowers the threat level for some of these episodes for me. The darker tone of this season can also push the disturbing shock value into cringe-worthy territory, crafting scenes that are uncomfortable to watch, making the humor feel cruel and unsettling. The Boys has always had some of the most disturbing shock value I've ever seen in a series, but the goofy overtones made these scenes awkwardly funny and overall entertaining to watch. Season 4's darker tone, however, doesn't have this fun goofiness to clash with a lot of these scenes. One episode in particular just goes from one disturbing sequence to the next, and as well performed as these sequences are by every actor involved, they're all extremely hard to watch. Despite the slightly uneven writing, pacing, and tone of this season, The Boys still remains as one of the best and most entertaining shows on TV that is absolutely worth watching if you can handle it. Season 3 of The Boys was honestly perfected TV storytelling in my opinion, and The Boys honestly set the bar too high with that season. But Season 4 is still an incredible season of television, it's just not as good as the previous season of The Boys. Season 5 of The Boys and Season 2 of Gen V will absolutely be insane though, considering everything this season has built up and where the story is now headed. Now, I've put this little segment near the end of the video for people who are worried about spoilers. They can click off the video right now if you want to, but I'm not going to go into any character specifics. But when it comes to character deaths this season, I was honestly surprised at how many characters were actually killed. Don't get me wrong, there were definitely a couple of main character deaths this season, but there were definitely a heap of other main characters who escaped scenes that they definitely should have been killed in. This just means that the next season of The Boys, which is the final season, is going to have an absolutely insane body count. Not only are the characters that I thought were going to be killed off this season going to have to be killed off, but obviously all the characters that I thought they were going to save for the last season to die are also going to have to be killed. I really enjoyed how emotional the main character deaths were this season, as I legitimately felt bad for each of them that did die, but honestly, how crazy is the pacing next season going to have to be for all the remaining characters that are still left alive to be killed off? So to say that I'm extremely excited for where The Boys is headed next season is literally an understatement. We need those seasons now. Season 4 of The Boys, for me, gets a 9 out of 10. I know I've said it's got a heap of stuff wrong with it, but it's still The Boys, like one of the best shows on TV. It's just not the perfect 10 out of 10 Season 3 of The Boys was. Thanks for watching my review of The Boys Season 4. What did you think of this season? Like I've said, I've heard some mixed things already, so let's keep the discussion going in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video.